I welcome all the students in this session. This session is about the recommended book list for the Civil Service Preliminary Examination. In this session, we'll be briefly talking about the various books that you need to study in your Civil Service Preliminary Examination, and we'll be also throwing some light on the strategy you need to implement for the preparation of civil services. As you know, your civil services preliminary part has two papers. Number one is the general studies paper first. This paper decides your merit. And number second, that is CSAT general studies paper 2. This paper is just qualifying examination. Qualifying means that out of 80 objectives, you will have to do only 27 objectives correctly to qualify this paper. So in this session, we'll be talking about both the papers. We'll be talking about general studies paper first and this general studies paper second. So first we'll be dealing with general studies paper first. So briefly saying, this general studies paper first has many components. Number one is this current events of national and international importance. Number second is history of India and Indian national movement. Number third is Indian geography, Indian and world geography. Number 4 is Indian polity and governance. Number 5th is Indian economic and social development. Number 6th is general issues of environment and ecology. And number 7 is general sciences. So one by one, we'll be talking about all these sections, and we'll be seeing the methodology we have to implement for studying these sections. So the first component is the history of India and the Indian national movement. So for this component, you will have to study some major recommended books. Those recommended books, I call them SMS, single major source. As you have been already told by many experts that read only one book, don't go for many books. Keep only one book as your single major source, as your single major recommended source. Just one book per subject, one book per topic, you can say. So this history of India, you have major three components, that is ancient and medieval history. Then you have modern history. Apart from ancient and medieval history and modern history, you will have to study this Indian art and culture by Indian art and culture. So first of all, for ancient and medieval history, we have been recommending this book, that is the 11th class textbook of Tamil Nadu State Board, history textbook of Tamil Nadu State Board. See, this is the single major source for ancient and medieval history. For modern history, you shall be studying A Brief History of Modern India by Spectrum Publications. And for Indian art and culture, a single book is recommended, that is Indian Art and Culture by Nitin Singhania. So you have to be clear and precise here, that for each components you will have to study only one book. Now the confusion that most students ask the question that they are not able to understand all parts of the book. For example, if any student is not able to understand the spectrum book, what you have to do, you have to open any relevant NCERT. For example, you open the NCERT of 10th class, and from this NCERT you can read this component, Indian national movement, and you have to study this from 10th class NCERT, just like you are studying a story book. No notes is required from NCERT. You need not to frame any note from NCERT. Just read NCERT as if you are reading any story book. Once you finish reading the NCERT, then your single major source is for modern India will be A Brief History of Modern India by Spectrum. It means just read this one book, Spectrum. If you are not able to read it, refer to your NCERTs, clear your basic confusions from NCERT, but after that you will have to study only one book for modern India, that is the Spectrum. Similarly, you will have to study only one book for ancient and medieval India, that is the Tamil Nadu State Board history book. For Indian art and culture, single book, Nitin Singhania. If you are not able to understand anything from this book, Nitin Singhania, then refer to this book and Introduction to Indian Art, class 11th. Once you refer to this book, you read this book as if you are reading any story, then move back to Nitin Singhania and keep this as your single major source, SMS. So after the history, your second component in this preliminary paper is this Indian polity and governance. For Indian polity and governance, only one book is recommended, that is Indian Polity by Lakshmikant. You need not have any confusions here. If any student is not able to understand Lakshmikant fully, he has to do one thing. He has to read this book, 11th class NCERT, Indian Constitution at Work. Read this book as if you are reading any story from a story book. Once you finish this story book, once you finish this within 2 days or 3 days, then refer back to your Lakshmikant and keep it as your SMS, single major source. Again, I would say that don't study too many books, read only one book, and then after you study it once, after first revision, go for second revision, go for third revision, revise this book multiple times. After Indian polity and governance, the third component is the Indian geography. For Indian geography, again, the recommended book lists are the class 11th NCERTs and the class 12th NCERTs. These are just 4 books. These are just 4 books, 2 books for class 11th and 2 books for class 12th. Apart from these 4 books, you may have to study, you would like to study this Certified Physical and Human Geography by G.C. Leong. So for your geography, your NCERT is a very sufficient source for studying the entire components of the geography. Apart from NCERT, you can refer to this book, G.C. Leong. So till now we have studied 3 components: history, polity and geography. Then fourth component you have is this economic and social development. For economic and social development, your first source will be the YouTube lectures by MRU and NUL Mununul. These videos are available on YouTube and this is free of cost. You can refer to these videos, watch these videos as if you are watching any movie. Most of your confusions will get cleared by just watching these YouTube videos. Once you are finished with these YouTube videos, then you have to study you have to come to your books. Again, I'll say either do one thing, either you have to study these class 11th or class 12th NCERTs. This is a very recommended source, class 11th and class 12th NCERT. If you are not comfortable with this 11th or class NCERT, then you can study this book, Indian Economy by Sanjeev Verma. This is also a good book. If you are not comfortable with this book, you can refer to this book, Ramesh Singh. Again, I would say you don't have to study all these books. Either go with class 11 and class 12th NCERTs, or study this Sanjeev Verma, or study Ramesh Singh. Just study either of these books. You don't have to study all these books. Apart from the books, some very important source is the summary of budget and economic survey. Again, you don't have to study this whole budget. You don't have to study economic survey, just its summary. Summary means you will get its summary from Vision IAS, you will get its summary from Insights IAS. This is mostly comprised of 5 to 10 pages. This is very sufficient as far as your examination is concerned. Now, moving forward, we have this fifth component, that is ecology and environment. For ecology and environment, this is a very dynamic component. For your ecology and environment, you have to do one thing. You have to study this class 12th biology NCERT. You need not to study this whole book. You have to just brush up with last 4 chapters of this book. That is chapter 13 to chapter 16 only. Once you are finished with this NCERT, then only single major source for ecology and environment is Shankar IAS. A single book, you shall be studying a single book at the end of the day, that is Shankar IAS, and you shall be confining yourself to this book only. Now moving ahead, you have this sixth component of your syllabus, that is the general science, science and technology. Now this component is a very dynamic component. Dynamic means that mostly the questions are being asked from the current events point of view. So for this general science, science and technology, you have to study the monthly Vision IAS. As you may be knowing, most of you must be studying this Vision IAS monthly magazine. It's available on the website of Vision IAS, or if you are not comfortable with Vision IAS, you can refer to Daily Insights. Daily Insights, either of the two. Either you have to study Vision IAS material, or you have to study Daily Insights. Apart from these, if you are more interested, you can refer to these class 11th and class 12th NCERT biology books. Again, I would say that you don't have to study whole books. You have to study only a selective reading of these books. For example, basic concepts like vitamins, proteins, carbohydrates, diseases, microbes, biotechnology. You will just brush up with these concepts from class 11th and class 12th NCERT biology books. Moving forward, you have this sixth component, that is current events. Here I would say that this is the most important part of your syllabus. This is the most important part of your syllabus. For current events, one of the best sources is Vision IAS monthly material. It's available on the Vision website. This monthly material it mostly comprises of 60 to 70 pages only, so it's not a big deal to complete this whole booklet within 10 to 20 days. So Vision IAS monthly magazine, you can refer to this if you are not comfortable with Vision, because mostly you can study this Vision IAS monthly material of the previous month. If you are not comfortable in studying the current events of the previous month, you can study the Daily Insights. Daily Insights updates its website on the daily basis. You can study the daily current events from Insights also. But again, I would say you don't have to study the both. Either go with Vision IAS or go with Daily Insights. Don't go for both of the two. After this Vision IAS or Daily Insights, you can refer to this daily analysis of the Hindu newspaper on YouTube. It's for the freshers only. Those who are not able to, those candidates who are not able to understand this Hindu newspaper, they can refer to this daily analysis of the Hindu newspaper. It's available on YouTube from Byju's or Daily Veer. They give you daily analysis of the Hindu newspaper, and it's helpful for the beginners who have some problem in understanding the Hindu newspaper. Number third component, as I said, is the economic survey and the budget. Just summaries are available on the Vision and the Insights. You can refer to these, just 3 to 4 page summary of economic survey and budget. That is sufficient for your examination point of view. Last part, that is the fourth part in the current events, is the value added material from Vision. This is very important, helpful as far as the preparation of mains examination is concerned. Now moving forward, till now we have discussed about your GS. We have discussed about your GS paper first. So we have talked about all the 7 components which are being asked in your GS paper first. Now we'll be talking about this GS General Studies paper second, that is the CSAT paper of your examination. See, your CSAT paper has 3 components. Number 1 is the reasoning, number 2 is the mathematical interpretation, and number 3 is the comprehension. Out of the 3, the most important are these reasoning and mathematics. Comprehension is, you don't have to prepare for comprehension as such, and you don't have to, because comprehension, all of you must be good at comprehending the things. So you can prepare for these 2 things, that is reasoning and the mathematical or data interpretation. The recommended book list for these are, it's very important, please note down. First of all, you will go through the previous year papers. previous year papers. If you are able to do the previous year papers completely, then you get very confident and you get to know yourself what is your level of preparation for this GS paper second. You solve previous year papers. Then for practice you can refer to this book, CSAT by Arihant. This is available in the market. And if somebody who is very weak with the mathematics, on YouTube he can refer to YouTube, because on YouTube a lot of material and a number of videos are present by which you can get your confusions cleared. So for CSAT you just solve the previous year papers. And for practice study this book, CSAT by Arihant. And if you are not able to understand anything, refer to YouTube directly. So coming to the last part of your of this session, I will be talking about some of the underlying principles of the civil service preparation. So these principles mostly are that read only one book per subject. You don't have to study multiple books. As I said, you have to restrict yourself to the one book per subject. If you are getting confused, refer to the basic NCERTs, but be restricted to one book per subject. After that, you should have the syllabus along with you. This is very important, keeping syllabus along with you, because syllabus tells you what to read. It's important. You should have the copy of syllabus pasted on the wall besides you, or you should memorize the entire syllabus, because it's very important to know what to read. Now the question is how to read. So the previous year question papers are very important, and they will let you know how to read the things. Besides syllabus, you should have the previous year question papers. These are very recommended, especially of last 5 years. From solving these question papers, you will come to know how you have to read the subject matter. So syllabus, keep a copy of syllabus along with you every time. You remember, memorize your syllabus. That's very important. Apart from syllabus, solve previous year papers. Solving previous year papers is very essential part of your strategy. And last thing is, make your own strategy and stick to it. This is very important. See, you will get inputs from lot of KS or IAS officers, but at the end of the day, you will have to make your own strategy. You see, what works for you may not work for others. So you make one strategy of your own and you stick to only one strategy, and you stick to only one study material, you stick to only one strategy, and that's how you are going to qualify this examination. So with this, I'll be concluding this session. If you want to reach me, you can reach me on my email. Mir Tajamul 1@gmail.com, or you can directly WhatsApp me on my number 7780-946-158. So with this, I hope that most of the confusions would be cleared about the civil service preliminary